pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If everyone would please remain standing for just a moment as we offer a moment of silence to our recently deceased Brookhaven residents. Lisa Yanis, Joan Bronsinski, Marian Seregiano, Raymond Birmingham, Diane Wyota, Leonard Zamuro, Philip Cerami Sr. Thank you.
I have two quick notes. Council held a brief general personnel meeting prior to this evening's meeting, and a reminder that video and audio recording of this meeting may be uploaded to the internet. Ms. Leslie?
Yes, can I have the members from Welcome Home come up front? You need me up there, or?
Come on down there. Come on.
Denise, I'll take a mic.
Holiday parade. Hey, I already have your copy down there.
We're from Welcome Home. We help out homeless veterans and underprivileged vets. We're here to give the certificate of appreciation to Denise and all the folks here in Brookhaven who helped us so much at our last event here in December. You helped us feed 150 veterans, give them clothing and hygiene products. We couldn't have gotten through and completed our mission without the direct support from the folks here in Brookhaven. So thank you very much.
We'll help out again, too. Okay? Thank you. Yep.
Thanks, Denise. Ms. Rifford? And Vaughn?
Came to see me.
I didn't see you, Vaughn.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you, Mr. President. I was walking my dog last week, and a kid goes by on a bicycle, so he stops and he turns around and he comes back and he says, "Can I pet your dog?" And I said, "Of course you can." So he's asked me how old the dog was, and he's, what his name was and everything. And he keeps looking at me in a kind of a strange way. And he says, "I recognize you." He says, "You're that guy that was on the internet that my father was talking about." And I thought, uh-oh. And I said, "Well, what did your father say?" He says, "Oh, he says he likes you." I said, "Yeah, that was me." But anyway, we had a parade. Speaking of parades, we had a parade. I think everybody enjoyed it. We have a few winners that are here this evening. And so we're here to honor those groups. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 5 categories. And the first is dance performance. So we're going to ask anybody from Dragon Force, Korean martial arts, to come forward. Thank you so much. Everybody did a great job.
Can they do one of those yells? Can they do one of those yells? Can they do one of those yells? Can they do one of those yells like you do in the parade? Huh? Little kia.
Thanks.
Thanks. Thanks, Vaughn.
In the category of marching band units, Sun Valley High School Marching Band.
Taking their ball and going home.
There they go. Clears
Taking
out.
their ball and going home.
We're not alone.
I got you first on the agenda, so you know how to sit.
It's one, right?
Yeah, yes. You just quickly reach over and boom.
Okay, in the category of marching units, the Aston American Legion.
See you again next year.
He sent it to me yesterday. And I already put the agenda.
Okay. Okay, and we did have a runner-up in this category, and that's BYU Spirit Cheerleaders. Anybody here from there?
Police officer too? Hold it. Hold it. You hold it? No, you hold it. Yeah. All right. You too. Here, come here.
August, get up here.
Mitchell. Mitchell.
August, come on. There you go.
Are you ready now?
All right, in the category of floats, the Bridge Church.
Which one is this one? This is the bridge.
The Bridge Church.
Float. Float, right?
Thanks, guys. See you on Sunday. Sports groups, Girl Scout Troop 513.
Oh, look at these little peanuts. Oh, Lord. Some of them are small.
Him too.
Okay, somebody here from the fire police want to come forward? We really couldn't do it without you guys. You're the guys that keep the streets clear and get everybody out of our way. So we can have our way. So tonight we're going to present them with a $100 check for the parade. Thank you. And the fire department. Chief, you gotta do all the heavy lifting. Thank you. These guys bring Santa Claus in every year. That's what's really makes us. Thank you. Thanks. All right, guys, there's a lot of people that we need to thank for making this parade a success every year. And first of all, I start with the Borough of Brookhaven, and we couldn't do it without the council support. And Janice, thank you for all the help that you've given us to get there. Town Watch for helping us with our bingo. We split a fundraiser with them every year. The Cub Scouts, they distribute the letters along the parade route for the neighbors along the route. And we want to thank Giant Supermarket. Every year they contribute to our dances. We want to thank our judges this year, Leon Armour, Chris Hayter, and Edward H. Rifford. We want a special thanks to Steve Luongo because this year they gave us 2 flatbeds, one for the grandstand and the other one we used to transport the Dixie Band, which was the first time that they ever participated in our parade. We think they were a hit. We may ask them back. We want to thank the fire police for helping us with the traffic control, Chief Curtin, and the police department for traffic control. We want to thank the Brookhaven Borough Public Works team who were out there cleaning up the leaves along the parade route, helping get our bleachers dropped off, the stairs, the grandstands, the chairs, the tables, the traffic cones, and then spent the day with Our Ladies, helping them out as they needed it. Special thanks to Our Lady of Rosary, Council 3876, the Knights of Columbus. Ed Rifford helps us stage that parade every year, and he does a phenomenal job doing that. We want to thank our characters on parade this year, who was Dolores Channing, Icona, who was Elmo, and Doug Scott, who was our baby shark. We want to thank the Brookhaven Fire Department for bringing in Santa Claus, and Mayor Hess for emceeing. He does a great job every year, so we want to thank him for that. And we'd like to send out a big thank you to the parade committee, Stephanie Donaway, Renee McClellan, who just joined us this year, Jenny McGee, and Linda Rifford. Takes a lot of people to do it, but they're the people that are in the trenches the year around, helping us raise the funds and organizing the parade. So what we're telling everybody now is save the date on the calendar. Next year's parade will be Saturday, November 21st, 2020. Start lining up the streets right now with your chairs. Go ahead and get them out there, get a good spot for next year, and we'll see you then. So thank you so much to the council and everybody.
Could I have that, please, so I can get
Sure.
it in the minutes properly?
Thanks, Fawn.
Thank you very much.
Green Estates, you ready?
Terry? Terry, can I get ours in first?
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. We have a swearing in. It was added to the agenda late.
Chief, would you join me up here, please? Mr. Tuttle, can you come up if you kindly?
Good evening, everybody and council. Certainly, I'm proud to introduce the newest member of the Brookhaven Police Department. His name is Mark Tuttle. He is joined today to celebrate this accomplishment by his mother Kelly and his father Charlie. Nice to meet you both.
Nice to meet you.
So Mark is Delaware County through and through. Just a quick second about him. Graduated Ridley High School, got his associate's degree from Delaware County Community College, his bachelor degree from Temple University. He's currently working part-time at Colcall Police Department right now, and he graduated from the Police Academy in December of 2018. So we're excited to have his enthusiasm and intelligence, and I know he'll become an integral part of the team here. Brookhaven, so welcome.
Thank you, Chief. State your name after I say aye, and repeat after me after that. I
Tuttle,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
That I will discharge my duties
I will discharge my duties
as a Brookhaven police officer
as a Brookhaven police officer
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
You're a Brookhaven police officer. Congratulations.
Congratulations, welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard. Congratulations.
Welcome. Mark, I need to sign something.
I have a red pen. Anybody have a?
There you go.
Here. Oh, he's got one.
One more. We're gonna make you official. Congratulations.
Now you may go ahead. Sorry about that.
We're with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Peter Gebert from Franklin Realty Development Corporation. I am pleased to announce, finally, we are ready to start Brookhaven Glen, which was formerly Brookhaven Green. We've made a number of improvements to the, I think, to our site plan and to our building. We now have a fully furnished model at the site. We plan on opening up the sales center beginning next month, and we're looking to start construction as soon as we have a final sign-off. We tweaked the site plan a little bit. We did nothing three-dimensional. It was basically two-dimensional, mostly just grading. The site balance is better, and we're disturbing less earth. We eliminated a remote parking lot because it was not proximate to the buildings, and we felt strongly that a 55 and older community, to have a remote parking lot was not really prudent, especially in inclement weather. We took that parking lot, we integrated the spaces lost around the perimeter of the complex, and we turned what used to be a impervious parking area into a dog park. And we're going to offer our residents that have larger dogs, it'll actually be 2 dog parks based on size. But those with smaller dogs, we have a small park, and then we have a larger park for larger dogs. And that's basically going to be just a crushed gravel aggregate that'll be porous. So as I said, we eliminated some impervious coverage. We got rid of parking that I feel was very impractical for our older residents, and we relocated it proximate to the entries of the actual buildings. The initial plan called for filling the high side of the site and cutting the low side of the site, which is backwards. And my partner Roger, who's been doing this a long time, was looking at it, and it really didn't make sense. So we had our engineer just switch the grading around, and that allowed just a very smooth transition between the buildings. The transition before was up to 6 feet between buildings, and now we don't have any building next to another building with more than a 2-foot increase. So all in all, we submitted the plan to Eileen Mulvena. Eileen made comments. We have, comment by comment, revised the plan, and I'm informed that we have a new township engineer. We'd like to be able to get his final blessing, and then we have our excavation site contractor lined up, ready to go. So, as I said before, these are two-dimensional, minor plan alterations, and we feel that the plan makes a lot more sense now. And it adds the amenity of having a dog park for people, so they don't have to load their dog into the car and take them elsewhere. So we just, as a courtesy, wanted to come in, get these plans into the appropriate hands, and then start, if there's any questions, start working, and we want to get started. I think-
Gentleman down the end, Mr. Catania, you can give
Okay,
it to.
wonderful.
And Chuck, you did not receive a turnover from Eileen yet, correct? Okay.
Would you like me to email you her comments? You could please. Any questions? You have a question? 7 buildings, 4 units per floor, 3 stories. So there's 84 units total. They're all elevator served. We introduced walk-in closets. We have granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, washer, dryer. It's going to be a beautiful landscaped courtyard in the center. Everything basically is a rectangle, and then there'll be a landscaped courtyard in the middle, and perimeter parking.
You said that you wanted to start construction next month?
ASAP.
And when would be the timeframe that the construction would be completed and move in?
We anticipate delivering our first buildings in September or October
Of 2020?
of 2020. We'd like to ideally deliver 3 buildings in 2020, but we will be starting more. I mean, as soon as we're done a building, we're going to move to the next building and the next building. So it'll be a continuous process. But I would say 95% of the site work will be done 3 to 4 months.
Mr. Wills, you had a question?
Sir, have you filed a formal amended subdivision and land application with this borough?
That is the latest plan that I just gave Mr. Catania. We had subdivision and plan approval, and we came back in and we got a dimensional variance. I believe, was that in August, September? I think in August, September, we got a dimensional variance. What happened was the township,
The borough?
I'm sorry, I'm in a lot of different places. The borough approved the architectural plans, and they,
When was that approval granted?
I believe back in 2007,
Yeah, it's been going on for 15 years.
Say that again, sir?
2007.
2007. You were granted subdivision and land development approval from the borough 13 years ago.
Well, we came back in and we got, by borough resolution, it renewed. The approval was renewed.
And now you're filing an amended subdivision and land development plans. Is that correct with Mr. Catania?
Yes, very minor changes to the plan. No, nothing inside the curb line changed with regard to the buildings, to the parking. Everything remains the same, except we eliminated the remote parking. If you looked at the plan, you wouldn't really notice a difference other than the absence of the parking. But the first thing we did is we came back in and we got the borough to approve our subdivision and land development plan. And then what happened is when we asked our engineer to put the buildings on that plan, the borough had approved a building with a different footprint than the engineered drawing showed, so that the site plan and the building plans were in conflict. So
I will consult with Mr. Catania. I'm concerned that we may not necessarily be in agreement with your assessment that this is a very minor variation that does not require a formal amended subdivision and land development application with the borough.
well, I can go back to the old one. If you guys come to that conclusion, I'll go back to the old plan. I think this is a better plan. I think it's a safer plan for the residents, and I think there's less earth being disturbed, and there's less impervious coverage here than there was on the old plan.
Let me ask you this, sir. Is there presently a subdivision and land development agreement between you and the borough?
We have those numbers from our engineer, and we were told by Ms. Mulvana, don't send them to her, because she's pretty much checking out.
So there's no signed agreement between the borough and the developer?
That is correct.
And there's no improvement security agreement, is that correct?
That, Mr. Stone would not draft one because he said he was done. I talked to Matt Stone.
Right.
And I talked to Eileen, and they said, you know, you're talking to us, we've only got a month left, why don't you wait? And that's what we did.
Well, sir, I will consult with Mr. Catania, but we may have to slow you down just a little bit. So, I've only been on the job a week, so I'm sort of in the learning curve myself, but
Well, we've always wanted to be good neighbors. We feel that this product is needed in the township. I'm sorry. It's needed in the borough. And we've had a great, degree of interest from township residents. People have been pulling into our model before we were even open, asking if they could look. But we welcome, we want to cooperate.
absolutely. Well, if we've waited 13 years, we can perhaps wait a little bit longer. But I'll certainly get with Mr. Catania. We'll certainly review that plan you proposed, and we'll get back to you.
That's fine, sir. When I email the changes from Ms. Mulvana, I think you'll agree that they're very minor. Any other questions or comments?
Anyone else from council?
Mr. Wills, you have one of your cards with you? Maybe
Yeah, I
you
can
can email that to you also besides Mr. Catania.
The major problem I have, which I've always had with this property, is egress and ingress. Because you have to go through Radio Park Lane to get out, and you have to go through the Faith Baptist Church to get out. There's really no real driveway. And I don't know what's going to happen, because when you get on Edgemont Avenue, there's no traffic light at the entrances, and there's no formal entrance to this property to get in and out. It was landlocked, it always was, and you got to go through in front of KinderCare to Radio Park Lane. There's no traffic light there. You're going to have to go through KFC and between that and the Baptist Church, and you're going through a parking lot. There's no real way that people get in and out. And you've got 84 units times 2, so you've got 160 cars or more going in and out, and you're on Edgemont Avenue, which is really congested now. And I've said this at least 100 times in the last 12 to 15 years, because this is not the first owner of this property. And we've been through and through with this.
Well, what we want to take a look at, Councilwoman, number one, is the resolution that apparently was approved, according to this gentleman, sometime in 2007, 13 years ago. There was apparently a land development and subdivision resolution purportedly passed by Borough Council approving this. Now, the question is apparently whether there are, quote, substantive changes to that land development and subdivision plan. If there were substantive changes, and again, I'll leave it to Mr. Catania's good judgment, but if there were substantive changes, then a formal amended subdivision land development application has to be filed by this gentleman. Then we sort of start the clock all over again. And I realize this gentleman, he's ready to put that shovel into the ground next month, you know. And again, my concern is that that timeline is probably a timeline we're not going to be able to meet, sir.
In deference to the traffic issue, 55 and older communities, national average is less than 1.5 cars per unit. We have met all the zoning criteria. We needed a dimensional variance, which was granted by the zoning hearing board. There's not enough warrants generated by this project to qualify for a traffic light. So the fact that there's an absence of a traffic light, it doesn't have enough warrants to justify a traffic light.
I understand.
The kinder care has been using Radio Park Lane during peak hours. People are dropping their kids off in the morning and picking them up at night during peak traffic activities. This project is a very low volume producing project. And as I said, it's something that is unavailable in this township to these township residents. Borough, I'm sorry.
You're in Brookhaven Borough.
Yes, I am. And last night I was in Upper Dublin Township, not last night, last week. No, but this is something, if we have to go back to the old plan, I'll be happy to go back to the old plan. I think the new plan makes more sense. The resolution was passed unanimously less than a year ago to renew the original subdivision and land development plan. We had zero dissension among Borough Council because everybody realizes that people that live in Brookhaven, they want to stay in Brookhaven. They want to stay in the same parish. They want to shop in the same supermarket. I've lived where I lived for 30 years. If you feel that this plan's worse, I'll go back to the old plan and we can go. I have no problem. My old plan is still approved until this plan's approved. But this thing, it's about time it gets built. I mean, when this thing was first approved, I actually had brown hair. I mean, this is you know.
Somebody apparently has been dragging their feet. The issue is who's been dragging their feet. That I don't know.
There's financing issues also involved there.
There were major financing issues, and I also wanted to deliver a product that was a whole lot more functional product. And we looked at the buildings. We didn't change an inch of the buildings, but inside, there's now a walk-in closet. There's now, there's a nice little laundry area so people don't have to go out. So all we've done is try to improve what we inherited this when we bought it.
Yeah.
And in 40 years, I've never bought a piece of ground where the approved township building plan didn't match the approved township footprint plan. And that's the only reason we came back for dimensional variance. which was granted once again unanimously.
Mr. Catania has served previously as borough engineer, so he may have some familiarity with this plan. I can assure you, I will make this a priority. We will be involved and speak with Mr. Catania and try to get you. I know where you want to go, from point A to point B. I understand
I
that.
very much appreciate that. We think it'll be an asset to the community, and as I say, we like to be good neighbors everywhere we go. Many years ago, a township solicitor told me, or a township manager said, keep us out of the newspapers, and I learned that a long time ago. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
There's mine. Thank you.
Anyone from public discussion? Go ahead, Harold.
Yeah, I want to ask Pete,
Harold, make sure your mic's on.
sorry,
Chuck, make sure his mic's
it's
on.
on. Wanted to ask you, Pete, is the berm showing on the Williamson Avenue, the back of their homes? You
Yeah.
showing that 6-foot-high berm?
Yeah.
And all the shrubbery that I told you that was approved by the zoning board before, and what had to be done? I have a copy of that in my records.
We have included the
Neighbors in
berm,
Williamson have a
the
fit.
berm landscape. We also offered City Academy a solid white fence that will also be landscaped, and it'll give the children more of a, it'll give the children.
Now, what I was just concerned is
Doesn't have kids.
people on Williamson Avenue may have some concerns. And like I told you way back in '84, I chaired the zoning board, we gave them the variance, the 50 feet. We also said they had to have a 6-foot-high berm back there. And every tree and planting is listed in that decision. And that's what you're gonna have to abide by. And I'll make sure that Mr. Catania has a copy. Okay. I'm just wondering because we're gonna have flack from the people in Williamson, what's going on.
We want happy neighbors.
You're not happy with
Okay,
that.
thank you.
Anyone from public discussion? Okay.
No,
Lynn.
Lynn. Lynn. You mean this public discussion? Oh, and that.
Regular public?
Oh, no, public discussion. Yeah, the actual session.
Thank you. Didn't want to interrupt.
That's all right. Name and address, please.
My name is Linda Delgott, 4501 School Lane. My first question, real quick, is are there any changes as far as public discussion goes? Is there like a new time limit?
The same rules.
Okay.
We actually had a 5-minute time limit previously, but we never really enforce it.
Okay.
Unless things get out of hand.
All right, I just wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing.
Don't keep us here all night, though.
Okay. At the last workshop on December 16th, an issue was raised by Mr. Dunaway regarding a phone call about a meeting that he saw, that he witnessed in this room. Some of the explanations, anyways, the explanation that we got was that Mr. Hess received a call from Mr. Hill, who is the builder guy, during which...
The owner of shops at Brookhaven, yes.
What?
The owner of shops at Brookhaven.
Right,
yeah.
right, the shops at Brookhaven. Which Hill asked to see if there could possibly be a presentation made to council. Our mayor at that point said that the new council be coming in January and perhaps that he should contact Mr. Heller because he would be part of the new borough council. One of my questions is, who arranged the meeting between the borough officials and Mr. Hill? Does anybody know who did that?
Well, the point of contact was the mayor. We
Point of
settled that at the
contact-
workshop.
The mayor,
That is correct, right, Mr. Mayor?
the mayor organized the meeting.
No. The mayor did not organize the meeting. Let me give you the chronicles here. I received a call from Mr. Hill, whatever day it was, 4 or 5 weeks ago. He wanted to expand in Brookhaven. He asked if the council would have any ideas of expanding or not expand, whatever they wanted to do. I said there's going to be a brand-new council in January. I would suggest you wait until January, and I surmise from rumors, and it wasn't on Facebook, that Mr. Heller may be the council president. I said get in contact with Mr. Heller, and then you could discuss that with him, and if we wanted to move forward, you could set up a meeting.
Right.
Then I find out, I personally get an email from Mr. Hill saying there's a meeting at such and such date. I showed up, and here we are.
Okay. So Mr. Hill sent you an email. Okay. So I guess my question still is, who arranged, on an official level in Brookhaven, who arranged a meeting with our borough officials?
The meeting was requested by Robert Hill.
It was requested by Robert Hill? Okay.
And we said, sure, it's exploratory, we'll look at it. And we had myself, Mr. Pappas, the mayor, Mr. Stone, Matt Stone, Mr. Vasquez, and Mrs. Fuchs.
Okay. So everybody that came there knew what...
Sure, we had 3 council and 1 council-elect.
Correct.
Correct.
Right. So everybody that came knew what the meeting, I mean, what the presentation was going to be?
Absolutely not. What we expected was a brief meeting. I expected 5-10 minutes. I expected to be asked for some sort of warm reception to a proposed project. And we'll get into what he proposes in a moment. And we showed up. Actually, I came up that morning to retrieve the camera to upload it to YouTube, the council meeting, to YouTube. And I saw a TV in the council room. So I asked a borough employee why there was a TV in the council room on a cart. And they said that's for the Robert Hill meeting. And I said, hold on a minute. This is a little more than just a brief conversation. So I went home, went to work, came back in at night, and we had our meeting. He had the presentation.
Okay.
You want me to get into what he wants? What he's asking for?
If I could just, I want to know who told him to set up the TV?
We have no idea. I have not been able to get that answer. I have an idea.
So someone in this building set up the TV
Yep, without asking council.
without asking council?
That's absolutely correct. And yes, they were aware of the meeting, and we are unaware that they were aware of the meeting.
Okay. So did anybody else receive an email from Mr. Hill?
I did not.
No.
Nobody received an email?
I don't have email.
I thought you received an email.
Oh, I thought you meant besides myself and the mayor.
Oh,
Yes,
you received-
myself and the mayor received emails, yes.
Okay,
And I forwarded invites along to the other
okay.
parties.
Is there anywhere in this, like, in the office or whatever, where people, like, have to sign up for the room?
Is there a protocol? Well, if you want to book the room for your use, you would go through Harry Swigum, yeah.
Okay,
But as far as the protocol for a meeting with the developer, I have no idea what the protocol is, to tell you the truth. Mrs. Sawicki seems to think that they generally contact Mary McKinley, the borough secretary, to schedule a meeting.
well, I mean, that makes sense.
Then I refer them right to Harry, because we don't want any double bookings.
Well, you're talking about a booking. We're talking about a meeting directly with the developer, sort of two
I'm
different.
talking about a meeting with the council. I'm talking about how someone comes about getting a audience with Brookhaven Borough Council, including the solicitor.
I would say that you would contact the council president.
Okay?
Directly.
But we're saying here that none of that happened.
No,
It was
no.
just all very nebulous.
No, we're not saying that he followed the proper protocol by any means. But we still wanted to see what he wanted. It was our right to know what he wanted. We are here.
Was there a reason why everyone wasn't notified? Like all council members were?
I was under the assumption that everyone was notified. I was actually surprised after I talked to a couple of council members that they were unaware of it.
Okay, so there's no protocol in saying, hey, guys, are we all showing?
Generally, in that situation, if I was the first point of contact, I would email all of council and say, this is what's going on.
Okay, did that happen?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, so, okay. Now, you had said that you had talked to at least 40 people,
I sure did.
and no one wanted the shopping center. expanded?
No, that's not what I said.
What did you say then?
I said there was warm reception to this. You want me to brief the public right now on what exactly they want before I continue? Let's do that. Robert Hill wants the remaining Chester Water land, the Harrison Hill property up at Dutton Mill Road and 352. I call it the clean landfill, where the old earthen reservoirs are, where the pump house is. He wants to build a 200-unit apartment complex. Next to it, a 175-unit assisted living facility. And he wants a 5-acre commercial site, starting where Mattress Firm is now, going down towards the entrance to the shops at Brookhaven. Now, he has already purchased the Mattress Firm property. So he will do whatever, he will make that part of his new commercial project. And he is going to move or build a new building for Mattress Firm right where the entrance to the center is, across from Whiteley, where they put their Christmas tree. And his pledge, this was just exploratory. His pledge was to donate to the borough the remaining 5.37 acres, I believe it is, of woodlands, which is right at Dutton Mill. So that would give us a 17-acre park from Dutton Mill Road all the way down to Coburn, including the ball field. So that's what he pledged to give without negotiations. Now, most of the folks that I talked to were not a fan of the 200-unit apartment complex.
Right.
We won't get into why, but they just weren't.
Okay.
And let me continue real quick.
okay.
And he wants a public meeting, and we're insisting that it be done in the gymnasium on a Saturday, so we can get as many residents as possible, sometime after the February council meeting, where he will present his proposal to the public.
Okay. Since no one in council really, it doesn't sound like our council or our council president at the time planned this meeting, arranged this meeting, scheduled this meeting, however you want to put it. Who approved Mr. Stone being there?
No one approves Mr. Stone. If Mr. Stone is asked to attend the meeting, he'll attend the meeting. It might have been me, it might have been the mayor. Mr. Stone's in the audience, he can answer that. Who asked you to attend? Was it myself or the mayor?
So technically, you guys have to waive conflict. If you want me to answer that, I can. I was looking for the email on my phone, but I can't just announce it unless you
Sure.
officially tell me.
Done.
That's okay with everybody?
Sure.
Yes.
So I got an email from the mayor that said we should invite Matt Stone or we should include Matt Stone.
Okay.
So I got involved on the email chain. I can find it if I need to.
I mean, you want your legal counsel there.
I understand that, but if someone other than our council is organizing a meeting without everybody on council knowing, and then we have to bring council in, our solicitor in, to make sure there's nothing hinky going on.
Of course you do. That's why we run
Right,
it.
but I would think that it would be council's responsibility to know ahead of time and approve the meeting and know what they're walking into, and not be able to say, well, I don't know who put the TV there, and I'm not sure who arranged it. We just showed up because we wanted to know what he had to say. That, to me, doesn't sound like the council is doing, it sounds like the cart and the horse being in the wrong spot, in the wrong position.
I can see why you think that way, but I disagree. I disagree. We have a developer here that's already owns shops. He does a good job. He's a really good landlord. And it was an exploratory meeting. And you're dang right I'm going to show up for the meeting. Now,
But I think everybody should have been invited. Everybody should.
well,
be
you can't have more than 3 council persons, and you're in Sunshine Act violation. We had 4 because 1 was council-elect. You can have
Oh, so you didn't want it on the record?
No.
Not allowed to.
No, you're not.
No, you're not allowed. You're not allowed to.
It's a violation of the Sunshine Act.
I understand that. And if it's a violation of the Sunshine Act, you don't have the meeting. I'm very well aware
But
of
you
what.
still have to. You can
come and make your presentation at a meeting, and we'll talk to you. The way this went down, the way it sounds to me as a resident, is like, wait a minute, somebody's running the show, somebody is doing something, and nobody wants to, either nobody wants to take credit for it, or nobody knew what was going on.
There's absolutely no funny stuff going on here, Lynn. I can guarantee you that.
Last week,
When you serve on council, you serve 8,000 people.
right,
You have a project that is going to either positively or adversely affect 8,000 people. I'm showing up to that meeting. It's an exploratory meeting. And hold on.
yeah, okay.
Now, if you want his initial presentation at a public council meeting, I'm not a fan of that. I want council to digest it and discuss it so we can give some sort of reception to him before we present it to the public.
I agree with you.
I don't think
Why can't you set up a meeting with the entire council?
we can do that.
I know you can.
Well, there's going to,
I mean,
well, we have a hold on. We have a general idea of what Mr. Hill wants. So I think we're ready to present it to the public in the gymnasium in February.
That's fine, but I'm talking about this meeting that, ironically enough, met the criteria for not meeting sunshine requirements, okay?
Okay.
And when you start doing things that don't require sunshine, then, to me, that speaks volumes to what is going on behind the scenes.
I think you're overreacting and politicizing.
Well, I
this,
don't.
think.
But I just want to remind you that
Okay.
at the last week at the swearing in, and congratulations, everybody, by the way. That was very interesting last week. But last week, you thought, you said that you thought that this might be the best council ever in Brookhaven.
I sure did, and I still believe that.
And I hope so. I hope you're right on that. I genuinely hope you're right. And trust me, I hold no better y'all than me. But you said.
Especially
and
tonight.
And I'll quote, "I'll be here to make sure we do everything clean." That's your words.
There was nothing unclean about that meeting, Lynn. There was nothing unclean
The
about that.
appearance.
The protocol might.
The appearance. You know what the gentleman that was here says? Don't put.
You mean the
paper?
appearance? You mean appearance in a public council meeting with the door wide open?
No, I'm talking about the meeting that I am discussing here that was just shy of needing sunshine, of meeting the sunshine.
It was held at 6 p.m. in a public council room with the door wide open, with multiple meetings going on.
Two current council people had no idea it was happening.
That's
More than two.
More than two people.
Denise
I was not the first point of. If I was the first
So
point
what
of.
I'm saying is.
Let me
these
finish. Let me
things
finish.
Have happened. No.
If I was the first point of contact, I would have emailed every member of council, and I was under the. And Vaughn believes this. I was under the impression every member of council knew about it. I was under that impression.
Well.
I believe it was Mrs. Fuchs, but you were invited, however.
No, I wasn't. Remember, I thought Vaughn was going to be there.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
Yeah, so there
And
was.
I said,
there was,
okay, if
there
Vaughn
was some
doesn't come in, then
confusion.
I'll walk in. 'Cause
You also, correct, and you also.
That's how this meeting went down. It was very.
Does it seem a little hinky to you? If
I
we
didn't
went to
know
a
what
school
it
board
was.
meeting,
Not
we-
dirt, not dirty.
I didn't
if
say
you mean-
dirty. Don't put words in my
Well,
mouth.
whatever
I said
hinky means.
A little hinky. And if someone walked in and said, this is the way things are handled, I think we need to look at it deeper. And I would prefer that things be a little bit more above board.
In retrospect, every member of council should have received an email from the initial point of contact, and Robert Hill himself should have emailed every member of council.
And council
Or
should have said, hey, do we all
Yeah.
want to meet with this
Correct.
guy? Okay, if we don't
Correct.
want to do sunshine, who wants to go?
Now here's the thing. We don't have much of a fight here. They can fight us, and I can't. Mr. Wills can better answer this to me. We're going to have a hard time fighting the apartments. The only
I'm not
thing.
talking about fighting either. I'm truly not. I'm talking about my borough council. I'm talking about things looking right. I'm talking about you guys ran on transparency, open, and all that. I think it's important that before you were even, some of you were even sworn in, they attended a meeting that kind of was legal because they didn't need sunshine.
No, I think you're reaching there. You're
not
looking for something. You're looking for dark waters. It's not.
Okay, well,
Okay.
just.
Hi, Lynn.
You've gone on for 15 minutes, and
Thank you, I
you've
appreciate
you've completely politicized this, and I will
No, I
not
didn't.
have my council meetings made a mockery of, and that's what you're doing.
No,
Your time
I'm
is up
not.
unless you want to ask for a vote for extension, okay?
No, I don't want to
Yeah.
ask. I appreciate you extending my time. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Come on, ma'am.
Hard act to follow.
That's all right.
My issue is very simple.
Can you say your name and address, please?
Janet Orsatti, and at 642 Kenny Lane in Victoria Woods. I've been in Victoria for 20 years, and we have a nice, quiet little neighborhood back there. And I love Lowe's to death. They're great, but they have this loudspeaker that goes 24, well, not 24, because they do close, 7 days a week from open to close, and it is so loud that it just disturbs the whole neighborhood. I mean, I hate to I'm not really a complainer, but it just kind of cheapens the area. You know, I feel like
I'm sorry, I had to call them last week. With the way the wind was blowing, you were getting blasted.
when the wind blows the right way, it's
Promised
horrible.
that they would lower it.
Yeah, and I've talked to 2 managers there myself. I talked to somebody at the borough who said she would have, it wasn't you, it was, said she would have the inspector go talk to them. And I also emailed my homeowners association. So, I mean, it's a minor thing, but it's very annoying. You can hear it when you're inside your house. They have a bell that goes ding dong, and then this loud announcements, like, it's constant. It's not just a few times a day.
You might know somebody who can help out.
Yeah, we can talk to
Yeah,
them.
we do.
Oh, I would appreciate that, because I'm not getting anywhere. That's just my
And you
simple-
you called Lowe's
I
management?
Do you
went
know which
in,
managers you spoke to?
spoke to them. One was Chris, and the
Okay.
other one was another one who said he had only been there a short time.
Tim?
I didn't get
Was this recently?
Recently, yeah.
So it's either Tim or Bill?
Yeah,
Okay.
so.
I'm sure somebody will talk to them tomorrow.
Yes, they-
Yes,
Whatever you could do, I would appreciate it.
Ma'am, can you repeat your name?
Oh, it's Janet. The last name is Orsatti. And that's Victoria Woods.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It is loud.
Anyone else from public
Wind
discussion?
makes it worse. The wind brings the sound.
No, Tom? You go on the second round? Okay. Anyone from the Brookhaven Business Association?
I think they're reorganizing.
Yeah,
That's
they're reorganizing this
Okay.
month.
And Mrs. Ford is not here tonight, right?
I don't see.
No, I haven't seen.
I think we got a note that she was missing it, but I got it before the reorg, so I think it was a mistake.
This
Chief
isn't the
Curtin?
regular meeting. This is like really the second Monday. Maybe
I know.
maybe she had.
I think there was a
might have had
mix-up.
conflict.
I think she thought it was last week and couldn't make
Yeah,
it.
she must have.
Chief Curtin?
Good evening again. The December 2019 Police Chief's Report for the Borough of Brookhaven. We had 22 persons arrested total. 21 were adults, 1 was a juvenile. There's 9 total thefts. There were 13 false alarms that we responded to. 462 security or business checks during the month were performed. Our year-to-date totals ended up being over 5,000 security checks, both businesses and residential for those on vacation. So I'm proud of my officers getting out there and making sure everything stays copacetic here in the borough. We had 16 traffic citations issued, 10 parking tickets, 24 traffic warnings, 29 vehicle collisions, 23 hazard complaints, and 23 motor assist were rendered. We had 66 medical complaints that we also responded to. We had approximately 50 hours of training undertaken during the month of December. This included some SWAT training by Officer Wetton and also alert training and/or instruction by Officer Havoc. Myself and Officer Wetton attended the grand opening for Chick-fil-A on December the 4th. Officer Subers provided a security detail that night, the 3rd into the 4th, for their grand opening festivities. And Officer Barth and Wetton attended funeral services for Ridley Township Officer William Henderson on the 20th. There was a few tokens of appreciation. We got the Pennsylvania Revenue Service here in the borough. They brought us some cookies for the holidays. It was very nice and appreciated. ShopRite brought some lunch as well, and we did receive a donation from 2 residents. So that's my report for the month. if there's any questions.
Chief, you want to mention the 3 new solar speed signs we have up?
Yes, sir. So in cooperation with one of the neighboring jurisdiction, we were able to purchase 3 solar speed signs that are in the process of being placed up. Right now, there's one on Brookhaven Road. If you're coming towards Edgemont Avenue from Bridgewater in that area, one's going to go on Edgemont southbound and one's going to be on Edgemont northbound. My hopes are to slow down traffic, to bring awareness to it, number one. Number two, to prevent or help deter any other crashes in the main intersections here in the borough, Brookhaven Road, Coburn Road. And a large part of that, as always, is to protect our children. So, any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Chief Montella?
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, Chief.
Figured that'll help out a little bit. December 2019 fire report, and we'll have our yearly totals along with the side of that. We had 2 fire incidents in the borough. We had 27 fire incidents in the borough for the year. We had 27 non-fire in the borough. We had 233 for the year in the borough. 16 calls for mutual aid. We helped out other companies 317 times. 5 training sessions, and we had 50 training sessions for the year. 48 calls for the month, 600 fire and rescue calls logged for the year. For the loss on structure for the month, we had $1,500 on structure, $1,000 on contents, for a total of $2,500 and $110,000 of property endangered in the borough. For the year, our totals were very low. We had a good year this year. $2,500 loss on structure, $34,000 on contents, $3,500 on vehicles, for a total of $39,500. We had $2,540,500 in property endangered in the borough due to fire. Our manpower report for fire calls, 57 calls, average of 14 firefighters responding for 457 hours for the month. The firefighters responded to 6,512 hours of manpower for the year. Our training, 3 training sessions, 25 average for the month, 138 hours logged for the month, and 2,385 hours logged for the year. Fire company responded to the following incidents in Brookhaven Borough. We had a building fire at the Hilltop Condos G building. We had a building fire on the 700 block of Marshall Road, and a residential rescue of a child's head stuck in a banister on the 4800 block of Shepherd Street. We had accidents at Victor Avenue and Upland Road. We had an accident 352 in Brookhaven Road, 352 in Hilltop Drive, and 352 at Grandview Avenue. We also had an auto accident. We assisted the Chester Township Fire Department on a building fire on 1347 Elson Road and a vehicle fire at Harshaw and Warlow. Assisted Upland Fire Company on a building fire on McClintock Drive. Assisted the Chester City Fire Department on a second alarm building fire on 1000 block of Remington Street. And we assisted the Garden City Fire Company on a building fire at the Standish House condos. Our monthly training, we had vehicle rescue extrication, and we had some EMS training on EMS on coronary training for the heart. Also, Brookhaven Fund Drive, Fire Company Fund Drive is at your houses and businesses. Came out at the beginning of the month. Please help us help you. We can use all the support you guys can give us, and we appreciate whatever you can do for us. Our ambulance report for 2019 for December, and this is year-to-date totals as well. We had 153 calls in the month of December. The ambulance answered 1,588 ambulance calls this year. In Brookhaven, we had 6 second emergencies during the month. We answered 71 second emergencies for the year. Brookhaven Borough, we had, for monthly total, was 95 calls. For the year, we transported 881 patients from Brookhaven. In Media Borough, 18 calls to Media. For the year, we transported 159 people out of Media Borough. In Lima Borough, we transported 11 people, which is Middletown Township. Parkside, we had 2 calls for the month there, and we transported 61 people out of Parkside Borough. Middletown, we had 2 calls and transported 71 patients. Chester Township, 1 call, 35 patients for the year. Another Providence, 7 calls for the month, 45 for the year. Aston Township, 5 for the month, 35 for the year. Upland Borough, 2 for the month, 44 for the year. Lower Chichester, we had 1 transport down there. Chester City, we were there 21 times for the month, 212 times for the year. So that's the monthly and yearly totals.
Thanks, Chief. Mr. Wills?
Thank you, Mr. President, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by at least initially thanking Borough Council for your appointment and your confidence in appointing me as Borough Solicitor. In the short time that I've been here, I have found Brookhaven to be an extremely welcoming community, and I feel that I am truly among friends. First item on my agenda concerns Civil Service Commission Resolution Number 2019-01, which amends the Commission's rules and regulations pertaining to the amount of past experience in law enforcement as a qualification for the position of full-time patrol officer in the borough. An applicant applying for the position of full-time patrol officer in the department must presently have 2 years of experience in law enforcement in a part-time capacity in the borough at the time of application and testing. The Civil Service Commission, with the blessing of the police chief and the mayor, has recently amended its rules and regulations to reflect that applicants for the position of full-time patrol officer have a minimum of 1 year experience in a part-time capacity in the borough at the time of application and testing. However, before any changes to these rules become effective, Borough Council must approve these changes. Accordingly, if it is the pleasure of Borough Council, a motion would be in order to adopt this rule change.
I'll make a motion.
Any questions? George?
The police committee didn't
George,
meet
put your
on
mic
it.
down, if you don't.
The police committee didn't meet on any of this topic here. I'm kind of taken back by it, that it even happened.
So am
Yeah, I didn't know anything about this. So considering the,
Sally, you had a question?
2020 is a,
I'm listening, go ahead.
considering 2020 is a new year, and we have a new person on the police committee, and for that matter, I'm new, I only attended 1 meeting. I think it needs to be discussed.
Okay, you want to table it?
Terry, you were the liaison, so you were the liaison on the Civil Service at the time.
Their point is that it was never presented to police committee, that,
You were on the police
well,
committee.
yeah, but the 2 committees never met and spoke. It was never, the information was never passed along to them properly.
Table it to next month.
I would table it to February.
This matter is not time-sensitive, therefore, if it is the pleasure of Borough Council, a motion to table this to next month's meeting, I believe would be appropriate.
Yes.
Mr. Wills, you might add that the Civil Service Commission unanimously passed this.
That is correct. And
Well, their point is council didn't have time to digest it, nor did the police committee, so. Motion to table?
I'll make a motion to table it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Revisit in February, then. We'll discuss it between now and then.
second item on my agenda concerns 2020 tax assessment appeals. There are 3 commercial properties in the borough that have recently filed appeals from the decision of the Board of Assessment Appeals of Delaware County relating to their 2020 real estate assessment. And they are as follows: 8 Brookhaven Road, 4106 to 4114 Edgemont Avenue, and 0 Brookhaven Road. Again, these are all 3 commercial properties. Not coincidentally, the legal and equitable owner of all 3 properties is the same entity, that being Lions Head LP or Limited Partnership It has a mailing address of 2222 East Deerfield Drive in Media, Pennsylvania. As traditionally occurs here in Delaware County, the solicitor for the school district, in this instance, the Pendelco School District, has primary responsibility for litigating this matter in the Delaware County Court of Common Pleas. The reason being, of course, is that the school district tax bill normally comprises approximately 80% of the total Delaware County property tax bill. The other 10% is the municipality, with the final 10% being the Delaware County tax bill. Accordingly, it is the school district with the most skin in the game relative to real estate tax assessment appeals. Third item on my agenda concerns the property at 123 East Brookhaven Road. This is a residential property which apparently has been in violation of the International Property Maintenance Code for many years. The owner essentially operates a junkyard and/or metal scrap yard accumulation business from the front yard. Last year, Borough Council authorized the commencement of an equity action in the Court of Common Pleas, and that action remains pending. Property owners have failed to respond to the lawsuit, and the borough's motion for default judgment against them is currently pending with the court. I shall contact the court within the next couple of days and obtain a status report. Fourth item on my agenda concerns 4209-4213 Edgemont Avenue property, commonly referred to as Carmen's. This is a commercial property which has been blighted for many years. Borough Council authorized the filing of a petition in the Delaware County Court of Common Pleas for the appointment of a conservator under the Abandoned and Blighted Property Conservation Act. The conservator has been appointed by the court. The conservator presented a plan for abatement that basically involves two phases. Phase one included a clean-out and assessment of the property to determine whether to salvage and rehabilitate the structure or to undertake demolition of the structure. The scope of phase two depends on the outcome of the initial assessment. The court approved the plan, and the conservator has performed much, if not all, of the clean-out work required, that being the interior work. The owner of the property has thus far failed to respond to any of the legal proceedings, has failed to enter an appearance in the court. When remediation of the property is complete, the owner must be given an opportunity to reimburse the conservator for the cost incurred per the Pennsylvania Blight Act. If the owner fails to do so, the borough may petition the court to seek approval for the sale of the property. Fifth item on my agenda concerns 3607 Victor Avenue. This again is a residential property where the owner has accumulated a large amount of trash and debris, primarily located in the rear yard. Last year, Borough Council had authorized the commencement of an equity action in the Delaware County Court of Common Pleas against the owner. That action has not yet been filed because of a pending municipal citation that's been filed with the local magisterial district court. A hearing date was initially scheduled for December, but it's been continued until the first week of February. I believe it is prudent and cost-effective to await the outcome of the district court hearing and see if the borough obtains compliance from the property owner prior to filing the equity action with the Delaware County Court of Common Pleas. If the property owner remains uncooperative and non-compliant, then I will file the equity action and utilize the results of the district court's decision to support the equity action in the Court of Common Pleas. Finally, I wish to publicly acknowledge and commend the actions of former Solicitor Matt Stone, who was gracious enough to meet with me and provide me with a status update on the most pressing legal matters affecting the borough to ensure a very smooth transition. Matt is a class act, and the borough has undoubtedly been well-served throughout his tenure as solicitor. I hope to continue in that same tradition. Other than that, Mr. President, I can report general progress and will be happy to entertain questions from either the council, the mayor, or the general public.
Any questions? Sure. You take your report from there.
Yes.
All right. I need a motion to approve the November council workshop minutes.
So moved.
Have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Motion to approve the December 2019 council meeting minutes.
Make the motion?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Let's go into the council reports, or, sorry, mayor's report.
I have no report on this new year, Mr. President.
All right. Council reports. Mrs. Sawicki.
Yes, I do have the bill list for January. It was at your seating tonight. For the general fund, it was $27,822.25. For the sewer fund, $19,392.35. And for the road fund, $1,146. And for trash fund, $259.80. For a total bill list, $48,620.40. So I'm going to make a motion so that Delilah can mail these checks tomorrow.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carried.
Okay, the only other thing I wanted to bring to everybody's attention, in your newsletter and in the calendar, I believe, they do talk about our rebate for trash fund, and the forms are in the office, so if you go to the window, they can give it to you. But you please be aware that the trash fund, you have to make an income of under $25,000 for a household, or there's under $12,500 annually if you have to get the 100% rebate. And you do have, the form is connected to the instructions. There's instructions that explain to you very few people are qualified for this every year, but I just wanted to bring it to people's attention. We already had some people calling about this. But the tax collector doesn't send the bills out to February 1st, so you probably won't get it to the middle of February, and you have to pay your taxes, have the paid receipt, and fill out the form, and then turn it into the office, and we do send out the checks July 1st, so you won't get it till then, if you qualify. But we will let you know if you don't. I mean, we do call people. That's all I have.
Ms. Leslie?
Thank you, Mr. President. Happy New Year, and I would like to welcome aboard the Solicitor Jay Wills, Mr. Catania back, Sherry Peller, and Hector Vasquez. So welcome aboard. Looking forward to working with everybody again. And the only other thing I have is that we will have both shredding and electronics events in 2020. The dates are March 28th and October 24th, and it'll be for both shredding and electronics. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Mr. Pappas?
Mr. President, my committees did not meet, so I will not have any type of report.
Mrs. Heller?
Thank you. To date, the Personnel Committee has not met. However, we will be meeting within the next week. As for the Business Revitalization Committee, there was no formal meeting so far held this month. However, I do have a meeting with a representative on Wednesday, January 15th, to discuss future meetings, formatting, and the current membership so that we can actually bring them back to some of our meetings, especially with our businesses growing. The Emergency Management Committee did not meet. I'm not sure if they meet on a monthly basis or just as needed, or something's going on for emergency management.
Yes, Steve and I will meet if he has something to discuss with me or something to put out. So we don't have monthly meetings?
Okay, gotcha. Okay. The Holiday Parade Committee did not meet on January 8th, but I want to thank Vaughn and Linda and the entire committee. It's something, Terry and I have lived here for 18 years, and it's something that we look forward to every year. So I look forward to, as well as, Ms. Fuchs, working with you throughout the next year, because it does take a lot, and you do an amazing job. So I look forward to that for next year. The police committee did not meet, but I believe that we are going to eventually be meeting within the next week or so, especially to discuss what was just discussed earlier. The rec board will hold its first meeting of the year on Thursday, January 30th. There will be a actual concert series committee that's going to be spearheaded by Tom. I don't want to steal Tom Dykes' thunder. But that meeting will be held on January 21st. So anybody that's interested, please come and help volunteer. Each year it continues to grow, and I know that this year we're actually looking to explore some nighttime concerts. It's a great free event, and even on the weekends, we'll be having a few Saturday weekends as well. Softball registration is open on the league website, and in-person registration will be available soon. Opening day and parade is actually Saturday, April 18th. Field days are scheduled for every Saturday in March from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. to assist with cleaning up and maintenance. So if you guys or anybody is available to help with the cleanup, we really do need help. It does take a lot to get those fields prepared. Brookhaven Babe Ruth baseball registration is open as well. There is a coaches meeting at Coco's on January 30th at 7 p.m. and in-person registration will be held on February 8th at 10 a.m. in our gym here, and on February 22nd at 11:30 a.m. at Coco's. Additional registration signups are all listed on their website. There is one thing that I did want to bring up that was actually addressed in our November rec board meeting, which I think is something amazing. We have 3 very young adult youth, I guess, that are 9th graders that came to the rec board to present a new program that they want to start for the seniors. They're holding their first class on January 20th, which is a Monday, from 1 p.m. to 3 a.m. It's offered to any seniors that are interested to learn how to paint. This will be a once-a-month event, and they're going to change the dates and the times. So if you are interested in learning some artistic abilities, I strongly recommend come out on January 20th and learn to paint. As for the Technology and Communications Committee, we met on Thursday, January 9th. The committee discussed our 2020 goals. Mrs. Fuchs, you'll be covering the website, I'm assuming? Yes. But as part of the website, one of our goals was to encourage residents to subscribe to the DUCO Alert, which is a Delaware County Community Alert Notification System. There's going to be a direct link, and actually I believe it is on our link. There's a link already on the website, yes. On the website, the system notifies residents of major crises or emergency situations through text, email, also any mobile devices and landlines. You receive alerts regarding a variety of announcements from severe weather or public health issues. It's a free service that you can actually subscribe to. You determine what you want to be notified about and when you want to be notified, and you can opt out at any time. The committee will be providing additional literature and assisting residents with sign-ups within the next few events. And again, it's a free service, and there's also other things on there between SEPTA or any type of traffic that's going on, so we really encourage people to sign up for that. We also had 2 other goals that we are looking to implement, and again, these are 2020 goals, so it's not something that's going to be implemented right away. The one is a Google Calendar for all office staff, especially in reference to rental availability for the rooms. We'll have administrators for the calendar, but all staff members will have the capability of actually going on to the calendar to see which rooms are available and when they are available. We're also looking at a tracking and ticketing system for any calls being received into the borough. Right now, they are both the actual calendar and as well as the ticketing system is obviously in the infancy stages, and we're still looking at different free things.
I heard you.
Okay.
I heard you.
Okay. These are to actually help from a customer service and actually helping the staff really, serve the residents a little bit better. So anything that's implemented, obviously, there'll be training for all the end users as well. Lastly, we discussed recording of council workshops, as right now everyone knows that our meetings are recorded, but now we are looking to actually move forward to actually recording council workshops. So with that said, I make a motion for council approval to begin recording of council workshops effective January 22nd, 2020. Did I do that right?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
And that is the end of my report.
Mrs. Fuchs.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to start out by saying, first of all, congratulations to everyone that's sitting up here. We're going to be a great team. I also want to let the public know that Mrs. Heller and I will be co-chairing quite a few of these committees: the Business Revitalization, the Technology and Communication, Holiday Parade, and the Rec Board. So just wanted to make everyone aware of that. Ordinance Committee news. We are not meeting this Thursday, so if you could please make a note for that on the door. However, we will be meeting in the upcoming months to discuss and evaluate our fee schedule and make appropriate changes to it the first part of this year. Technology news, the website has been turned over to us and it is live. So I encourage everyone to please go out brookhavenborough.com. Look at our website. The functionality is different. It's very simple to find things now on our website. It is a work in progress. We're going to be adding things to it, changing some things around, but the backbone of it is available for all to see. And that is all of my report. Thank you.
Take that.
Mr. Catania.
Where are my notes?
Forgot about me?
Yeah, you forgot about.
Hi.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Vasquez. I forgot about you.
He's so quiet.
Congratulations. You won.
So quiet.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everybody. The zoning board will be meeting tomorrow to reorganize tomorrow at 7 p.m. I just want to let everybody know I resigned from my seat on the board. Mr. William Hasse, I believe is how he pronounces his name, will take my place. I do want to make a motion to advertise for an alternate for the zoning hearing board because we do not have one anymore. If I
a
get
second?
that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Also in front of you, you have a description of the zoning officer. If you see any changes needed or anything you'd like to add, please let me know and we can make that happen. That's all for zoning. Public Works, busy month in December. We had 2 sewer calls out. One at the 3500 Edgemont Avenue, sewer main was blocked. 200 Charles Avenue was plunged, but no luck, so that issue's on the homeowner. Durkin Field building was winterized. Everything's now winterized in the Barrow, park-wise, so hopefully we have no issues over the winter. Security cameras across the Barrow Garage and the sewer plant were updated. 3 additional cameras were added. And the existing cameras are directed to better cover the property. Outside lighting was also added to the old garage around the storage room door. The chipper was moved up from storage and prepared for a Christmas tree collection. The Christmas tree collection will continue until the end of the month. Just place it at the curb, remove all decorations, lights. They will not take anything with a stand, artificial trees, or bagged trees. We updated all the LED lights on the emergency signs at the Barrow Garage. They answered 30 PA1 call ticket requests. Let's see, what else? We removed a down tree at Memorial Park from the wires and the fence. There was, work was done by RJ Tree Removal. They had 19 emergency calls with the sewers. We had some routine cleaning of the mains that were done along Patton Ave from Brookwater to Swiftwater, Brookwater Place, Swiftwater Lane, Edgewater Lane, Gray Street, Hillside, and Zor. from 3515 Alpha Edgemont, that's Faith Baptist Church, to 3521 Edgemont, Wendy's was cleared. And from Coburn from Shepherd to Greenwood, also the stormwater from Chandler to Camelot. We televised mains from Faith Baptist Church to the Taco Bell, found roof drains from the church and a break in the main under the parking lot. For the recycling port for the Christmas trees, we collected 527 trees total as of right now. They've been chipped, and the chips were spread in the fall at Sampson Park, fall zone at Sampson Park. The limb chipping, we had 267 residents scheduled to have their limbs chipped, and all that has been done and carried out. And for the leaf collection, we had 269 cubic yards of leaves picked up, resulting in 31 loads being taken to the transfer station. And that is my report.
Add that Public Works is assuming the maintenance for the Hometown Hero banners. They agreed to take that over
Oh, yes.
today. Thank you. Mr. Catania?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report for tonight as I'm still getting up to speed on ongoing projects in the borough. I would like to thank the council for their confidence to allow me to continue to serve as your borough engineer, and that's all I have.
That's about 2 hours less than the other one.
Jeez. I have one item. I am forming a Hometown Hero banner to assist with the, Hometown Hero banner committee to assist with the emails, phone calls, customer service. It's a heck of a lot of work. We're well into round 3, and with my advanced duties, I don't really have a whole lot of time to do it. So I'll be putting that out on Facebook and looking for some recruiting. We do have a 3-member committee. I'd like to add 3 more. So anyone that is interested, let me know. That's all I have. Mr. Leslie?
Just a couple things there, Mr. President. Coco's Pizza was sold. There's under a new owner over there. Inspectors will all be there tomorrow for their C of O inspection. European Waxing, that's moving along at 4824 Edgemont. The Elwyn Building down there in the Brookhaven Shopping Center, that's also moving along. Annual Pep Boys sprinkler test was done just recently. When I was over there and witnessed that. There's still some pipeline work still going on. Williamson Avenue, that's finished. It's all cleaned up there. Coburn Boulevard is still ongoing. They're in the process of cleaning up. Cambridge Square is still ongoing. I don't know if I reported on that or not. The AutoZone changed hands. We inspected that early in December it was. And again, if you smell gas in the borough, inside or out, please call 911. It's a borough issue and it's also a county issue with ongoing natural gas leaks. Please call 911. That's it in my report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Bynum?
All of 2019 health inspections have been completed. 2020 is a new year, so we'll start getting the lists out and start the inspections.
Thank you. Harold?
Last month, 84 calls. That's not doing I did 166 permits last year. 84 calls in December. I'm at 66 right now. And we're just 1/3 into the month, so we're getting close to 1/2. So apparently I might be picking up quite a bit more people are doing. Besides my report, Hector and I had a meeting. We went through a whole lot of things the other day on the thing, and I gave him that copy of what my job description was to have new counsel, if there's anything else you want to do or don't want me to do, or whatever's on the job description that I had originally from 08. And I'd like to talk to the solicitor. I think Matt Stone gave him a lot of pictures. Did Matt Stone give you some pictures on some of these properties?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's from my evidence camera. I have some more that I just took on the 10th, on 123, where it's getting all junked up again.
It's been said that a picture, right, is worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, well, I take pictures all the time.
That's right.
Every day.
We
Almost.
appreciate
I
it.
just did. The fire marshal spoke to me yesterday, I took pictures on that. So we have another gentleman that's well, about 3 more in town that are junking up the properties and making junkyards out of them.
Photos can be very compelling evidence when you
But
need
I
to
will
appear
give you
before
copies
court.
of what I just took on 123 down here. I was going to meet with the John Grant, the code enforcement, get another citation issued to him. He has paid a fine in the past of $600, and he doesn't listen to one thing. His mother also owns that property. She had that property completely cleaned up November 19th, as the judge ordered. It was completely cleaned up. And when she came back out of prison, he has just made one big mess of that again. So I'll give you the pictures, a copy of what I just took.
Great. Look forward to working with you, sir.
Okay. And you had asked me for a card, I'll get you a card too.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's all. Thank you, Mr. Hill.
Thank you. Chief, do you have anything else?
You guys have all.
Okay. Anyone from public discussion?
Real quick. Everybody. This is more for food for thought type of thing for now and looking in the future. My name's Tom Dykes, 305 West Brookhaven Road, Marion.
So are you a new resident?
I'm a new resident, yeah. So just some ideas for Brookhaven Borough. As you all know, I'm one of these people who thinks we need to preserve as much property and land as possible in this borough. We've lost too much in the last few months, or last couple of years. The last 2 large areas are the water company, water authority property, and Our Lady of Charity property. There's a good chance that in the near future, the water company property will be sold. And a couple of years ago, there were talks of housing developments going in at Charity. So we have to see. So as we found out in December, Mr. Hill's already talked with the Chester Water Authority about buying their property and putting all sorts of fun things in there. Hopefully, the borough can be able to retain some of that property, preferably the woods that are still there, so we can attach that to the rest of our property.
That's what the early pledge is.
That's the early pledge from that. And that's going to be a great addition to the borough to finish that park off. It'll be a almost 15-acre park.
Almost 17, yeah.
Almost 17-acre park in one big line. We have talked, should I say that? With Leanne?
Sure.
Sure. We have talked with our state representative. There's a possibility that there might be some grant money available for placing natural walking trails in, using wood chips and those types of things as opposed to paving it and doing that kind of stuff. So that's a possibility. She told us that there might be some money available for that for grant money, so it shouldn't cost us anything. The charity property would give the borough a great opportunity to improve recreational space in the borough and to preserve open space. It would make sense to start talking to the Archdiocese now. Too many times we've gotten behind the 8 ball and we've waited and we've been reactionary instead of proaction. So we need to really start being proactive with them. If they've already talked about the idea of maybe selling off and putting housing units in and stuff like that, the Archdiocese is closing churches left and right all over the Philadelphia area. Charity could be next. We don't know.
How many acres is that, Tom? Do you have?
I did not get an exact count on that. I have to figure that out yet, find that out yet. There are some ideas about funding. We've talked with a number of people. An idea that came up was the idea of having discussions with both Parkside and Upland about going into a joint venture. The property at Charity backs up to Shelton Road, and that's right where Parkside and Upland meet. So it'd be a possibility of coming in and doing all that. The combined community, it could be a combined community center with sports fields, playgrounds, a community center that'd be run by a board that reports to all 3 boroughs. And some people go, how in the world can that happen? It does happen. It's a possible idea. That way everything's accountable to those 3 boroughs who are helping to do it. And it does get done by many many areas around the country. I know when I was in college, I realized that was in the Stone Ages. But I worked as an intern at the West Shore Recreation Board, which was 8 municipalities and a school district. And they ran everything. So there's a possibility with that, can be done. We would need to do a few things with doing stuff. We're looking at, it's a possibility of forming a committee to start working on fundraising for this. Once we get a committee set up and they can figure out what's going on, I've already checked into this, we need to set up an incorporation for that committee to become the Friends of Brookhaven Parks, or whatever we want to call it. At which time, once we have our plan of what we want to do, we have the incorporation, we can then apply for a 501c3 so that we can get tax-deductible donations from companies and people and things like that. So we've looked into that. The committee would also help with all 3 boroughs working towards fundraising for the purchase of the property. And once we've started fundraising, we're getting closer and closer to the goal. Then we can apply to the state for additional funds to help purchase it. One of the things we were told is that the state will not give us the front money to purchase something, but they will help us, they could help us finish the project to purchase something. So we've looked at all of those items. So there are some ideas with that, just some ideas we need to do, things to start thinking about. We definitely need to be proactive. We were too reactionary with what originally happened. We're ending up being reactionary now. We asked a couple of years ago to be proactive about the rest of the water company field. That didn't happen.
That's not quite true. I put in more than a few calls. Mrs. Fuchs and I had a meeting
I'm
with...
just saying, years ago, we were trying to get more proactive, and we didn't quite get there.
From what Leanne tells us, it takes 2 years
to get
for grant money.
that.
The remaining CWA land would have cost us $12 million.
Right.
That's including remediation for the clean landfill. There's no chance.
No chance
Unless the
of
borough bought it, and you're looking at a $400
Right.
per unit tax increase per year for 30 years.
So we're looking at trying to be proactive in doing this and start a Friends of Brookhaven Parks, whatever we want to call it, to start raising money. And even if we can't purchase the charity property, we still would have the Friends of Brookhaven Parks, very much like the Friends of Fairmont Park, who then help to provide programs and upkeep for parks and buildings. And
Did you cover the building, the school?
Oh, and I missed that. Sorry about that. Where was it?
What you emailed me had the school. That's my only concern is what you would do with that building.
The school, we talked, Hector and I talked about the idea of what to do with the school, whether to tear it down or retrofit it. We thought it might be more advantageous to try and retrofit it, make it into large rooms, make it into whatever we need to do, maybe add a gymnasium onto it or something like that, so we can have more community use and doing things with that. So that's the things with that. So that's my big spiel on saving land and getting more recreational space. The other one, which Sherry sort of stole the thunder on, we are having a planning meeting on Tuesday, the 21st at 7 o'clock for the summer concert series. We're hoping to expand the summer concert series this year so that we'll have concerts starting in May. So we have May and June, probably on our May, June, September, and October on weekends, and July and August during the week. And we're trying to get as many different things. And our October program, Donna, you want to tell everybody what our idea is?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I thought you loved it. Donna loves the idea. Our October concert we're hoping to do is going to be a battle of the bands. And the idea is to get all the local bands that are around and give them 20 minutes to half an hour to have things and have a judging committee and do that and have a nice fun thing and a nice way to end the season. And a food truck if we can get it there.
A couple food trucks. We need a couple.
So that's what we're trying to do. So hopefully everybody likes the ideas that I'm trying to do with the concert and also with the trying to preserve open space.
So you're going to form a committee, and then I would suggest forming a committee and then scheduling a meeting with Lee.
Yes.
The state senator has no interest in it. I could probably tell you that. He had no interest in CWA.
I think what we need to do is find out who would be interested in helping out with this. We definitely would need some help and guidance from the borough if we're going to approach Parkside and Upland. on the ideas.
Parkside may be a reach. It's, in my dealings with him, speaking with him, I know a couple of the
I think
council persons
Parkside
in
would
it.
be willing to do something. I had talked originally to some of their newer council people who were definitely interested in the idea.
Okay.
Upland, I'm not so sure about, but Upland's the one who has the money.
Yes, they did, that's where I was going.
So that's where we need to go with that one. So,
Thanks,
okay.
Tom.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anyone else for public discussion?
Tom? Is Our Lady of Fatima, is that still, or Our Lady of Charity, is that still an existing functioning parish?
Yes, absolutely.
The school's not in use.
They're not selling.
The school's not in
The
use.
school is not
They're not
used.
selling.
Churches.
I don't know where you're
But
getting
the
this stuff
idea
from.
is to talk to the Archdiocese and see what their thinking is in the next 5 to 10 years. It would take us that long to raise money to be able to purchase anything anyway. I've been 5 to 10 years of fundraising. So,
Do you know, does the church, are there multiple tax parcels there, or is it all one tax parcel?
Janice, you know?
I think it's one.
I believe it is, too.
It's got to be at least 9 acres, if not more.
If not more.
If not more. It's 4 buildings.
Hector?
Yes.
Is that you?
Yeah, 4 buildings.
The
5, well, it's 5. We have Don Guanella.
the elementary school, did that close?
Thank you.
It closed years ago.
Do we have a digital?
But the police use it for
We have a digital copy?
training for SWAT teams. They're there every month.
Why would we?
It's one of the 2 places I know that they go in the county. And Don Guanella is there, and it's there permanently, because they have the new building there.
They are leasing from the Archdiocese, is that?
Well, they built
built them a home.
the building for them.
Oh, okay.
They moved them into about 20 different individual homes for like 6 people each, when they closed the facility, to sell the property. No. That's all I know.
Now we're ready for you. Sorry.
Laird Shively, 421 Sir Galahad Drive, Brookhaven, PA. I just have a question about a property across in our neighborhood at the corner of Mary Ann and Sir Galahad Drive, because back in November, a couple of individuals knocked on my front door one morning and asked me if I knew the people who lived in the house. And I said, well, yes and no. I mean, I know them to talk to, but I don't know anything about them. Well, they said that they would like to see the property because they told me it was being sheriffed. So my question is, what has come out of all that? What is the disposition of that property at the corner of Mary Ann and Sir Galahad Drive? It's the property with the white asbestos siding.
That's not where the 2 ladies moved out recently, is it?
I'm sorry?
That's not the property where the 2 ladies just recently moved out?
Not sure.
Across the street from you?
I'm not sure. I see the same vehicles that have been frequenting that property for quite a long time. And I just wonder what has become. If it was sheriff, what happened? You know, what became of it? You know, it still remains the same. There are no improvements made to it. You know, the back screen door, storm door is ajar, and there's asbestos siding that's fallen off. And,
I'll look at it. Do you have the street address?
I'm sorry.
Do you have the street address?
Well, it's the corner of Mary Ann and
I'll look.
Sir Galahad Drive. You can't miss it.
Well, I wanted the number to look.
It's right across from 419 and 421 Sir Galahad.
Okay. We'll look into it.
The other thing is, with my favorite topic, the water retention basin, I do have a couple bags of seeds that I am going to plant in there, and those seeds are nothing, well, I'm going to sow in there, I should say, when the time is ripe, but those seeds are nothing that isn't already in there, such as black-eyed Susans, coneflowers, goldenrod, and maybe some milkweed. So I'm not putting in any invasive plants like bamboo or any other horrendous plant life that should not be in there. Outside of that, I have nothing else. Thank you.
Thanks, Laird.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Harold, I have no idea who you're pointing to. We called on him already.
We didn't have a report.
Chuck was supposed to nudge you,
I
but
asked
he didn't. Anything from council? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.